Chapter 11 of the Old Willis Place. I ran down the steps after Lisa in a panic. I jerked her hand away from the knob. Don't open that door. I want to see where she died. Lisa reached for the knob again. Miss Lillian's hat hid her face, but her voice was shrill with excitement. The rustling sounds grew louder, as if someone in a silk dress was crossing the room. The floor creaked, and the air turned so cold my teeth chattered. As clearly as if she was standing beside me, I heard Miss Lillian's voice in my ear. Get out of the girl's way, Diana. Let her open the door. Instead of obeying the old woman, I pressed my back against the door and pushed Lisa away with all my strength. She staggered backwards and crashed against the wall. What's wrong with you? Lisa rubbed her arm and winced as if I'd hurt her. Are you nuts? Just stay away from the door. If you open it, she'll get out. What are you talking about? Who will get out? In my ear, Miss Lillian's cold voice froze the very air between us. Let the girl open the door. You and I have business to settle, miss. Please, Lisa, please, I flung myself at her. I beg you, we have to get out of here. But Lisa evaded me and reached for the knob. I have to open the door, she cried. I have to. That's right, Miss Lillian hissed. She must open the door. She must. Despite my efforts, Lisa managed to turn the knob. The door swung open and slammed against the wall with a loud bang. Out poured a blast of cold air. It spun past us like a small cyclone of ice, taking the flowered hat with it, and whirled up the stairs, leaving us frozen speechless in the parlor's doorway. Suddenly, there she was, Miss Lillian herself, peering down at Lisa and me from the top of the stairs. She was just as I remembered, tall and gaunt, bent with arthritis, wrathful, hateful. Uncombed hair framed her pale face in thorny white brambles. Clutching her hat, she leaned over the railing and directed her gaze at me. You! She stood there, her mouth moving as if she wanted to say more but could find no words. You, she whispered. You and your brother, just wait. With a wail of fury, she turned and fled. Her gray silk dress rustled. Her footsteps clicked the way that they always had. Then her bedroom door slammed shut and she was gone. In the sudden silence, I collapsed on the steps, weak with fear. Miss Lillian was free to pursue Georgie and me, free to hurt us again and again. With her hunting us, we weren't safe anywhere on the farm, and we couldn't leave. I glanced at Lisa. What had she done? I wanted to scream at her, to blame everything on her, but she sagged against the wall as if she'd never move again, her face colorless, her eyes unfocused. While I watched, she drew in her breath, opened her mouth, and began to scream. Out of pity, I took Lisa's hand and pulled her to her feet. I ran and dragged her behind me, still screaming, stumbling and tripping and bumping into things as if she were blind. Faster, I yelled, jerking her along. I didn't care if I was hurting her. I didn't care if I was scaring her. It was her fault. She brought me here. She insisted on seeing every room in the house. She'd opened the parlor door. At last we plunged outside into cold, fresh air, smelling of nothing but rain. Macduff leapt away from the terrace and bounded ahead across the weedy lawn, as anxious as we were to get out from the house. Once safe in the trailer, we slammed the door against the wind and rain and whatever else might be out there. Without speaking, we huddled on the sofa, wet and cold and shaking. Macduff cowered between us, as scared as we were. Mr. Morrison wasn't back from the Home Depot, which was a good thing, considering Lisa's hysterical weeping. Oh, Diana, she cried. I saw her. I saw Miss Willis. She ran up the stairs. She... Lisa's sobs overcame her, and she buried her face in Macduff's fur. Why didn't you listen to me? I tried hard not to shout at her, but my voice rose anyway. I told you not to go in the house. I told you not to open that door. Lisa rocked back and forth, crying and moaning. I couldn't help it. My hand just went to the doorknob. I couldn't stop myself. And she got out. She didn't just get out. You let her out. But I didn't mean to. I told you. It was like my hand. My hand. Lisa raised her head from Macduff's back and looked at her hand as if it didn't belong to her. I think she made me do it, Diana. I stared at her. Maybe it was true. Ghosts sometimes possessed people. I'd seen it happen in movies, so maybe it happened in real life too. If you just listened to me... Lisa started to cry again. It wasn't my fault. I slumped down on the sofa and stared out the window. Sheet with rain. Macduff whimpered and licked my hand, and I stroked his head. Though I didn't like to admit it, I started all this by making friends with Lisa. It wasn't her fault, it was mine. I had no right to be angry with her. Lisa leaned closer to me, her voice hoarse from crying, and whispered, What will Miss Willis do? Will she hurt us? I kept looking at that window, fearful of seeing a face press itself against the glass. But I saw nothing but rain. Where was Miss Lillian? What was she doing all alone in her ruined house? Why would she come looking for my brother and me? Or when would she come looking for my brother and me? If she comes after anyone, I said slowly, it will be Georgie and me, not you. It's us she hates. Lisa huddled in her corner of the sofa and stared at me, her face wet with tears. Why would she hate you and Georgie? I looked at Lisa long and hard, tired of her questions, tired of her ignorance. Why had I wanted a friend so badly? I got to my feet. I have to find Georgie. Don't go, Lisa grabbed my hand with both of hers. Please, wait till Daddy comes home. Don't leave me here alone. I told you, Miss Willis won't hurt you. Please, please, Lisa clung to me and wept. Stay with me, I'm scared. I pulled away from her. You have Macduff, but Georgie's out there in the woods with no one but Nero. Don't be mad, Lisa begged. I'm sorry, Deanna. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I didn't mean I left her weeping on the couch, her arms around the dog. All I cared about was Georgie. I was his big sister. I had to keep him safe from Miss Lillian. And then this is from the Diary of Lisa Morrison. Dear Dee Dee, what happened today is almost too terrible to write about. My hand is still shaking so much I can hardly hold my pen. I did what I said I was going to do. I made Diana go inside the house with me. Macduff wouldn't come with us. Diana didn't want to go in either. She said it was against the rules. Oh, Dee Dee, I should have listened to Diana. She and Macduff are both smarter than I am. What's wrong with me? Why do I do dumb things? As soon as I stepped inside that house, I smelled a horrible stink. Cat pee mostly, just disgusting. But did that stop me? Oh no, I went in anyway. I just had to see what the house was like. But it was more than that, Dee Dee. It was like something was making me go inside. It was kind of like a voice in my head saying, come in, come in. It wasn't just an invitation, Dee Dee. It was more like an order, and I had to go in and do what it said. Hearing voices, it sounds crazy, but that's what it was like. I hope nobody ever reads what I just wrote. They'd lock me up in a padded cell for sure, but it's true. There was a voice, and now I know it was Miss Willis. She wanted me to come in. She wanted me to open that door. I was scared, but I didn't want Diana to know, so I said, let's go upstairs. We went to Miss Willis's bedroom, and I tried on her clothes and made fun of them. I even took one of her hats, a big one with flowers on it, really hideous, and then I made Diana go to the 3rd floor. There was a big old piano up there, all covered with cobwebs. Diana freaked out when I started playing it. We actually had a fight, and then she started crying, and I realized I was acting like a spoiled brat, making her do what I wanted when she was so totally worried about those rules, which turned out to be much more important than I ever dreamed. So I told her I was sorry, and we started to leave, but at the bottom of the steps, the voice in my head started up again. There I was, right in front of the parlor door, and I knew that was the room where she died, and the voice kept telling me to open the door. So I grabbed the knob. Diana tried to stop me, but it was like something had a hold of me, and it was making me turn the knob and open the door. Honest, I'm not just making excuses for what I did. It was her, Miss Willis. I'm sure of it now. As soon as the door opened, this icy cold wind came rushing out, and I saw something gray go running up the steps. It took the hat, snatched it right off my head, and stopped at the top. Dee Dee, don't think I'm nuts when I tell you this. It was Miss Willis. She looked real, but I knew she was a ghost because she died at least 10 years ago. There she was, staring down at Diana and me, mean and ugly with wild white hair, wearing a gray dress like an old crazy woman you might see in a store or walking down the street. She leaned over the rail and started yelling at Diana. Then she ran down the hall, and I heard her bedroom door slam, and the house got very, very quiet, as if it was holding its breath till the next thing happened. That's when I started screaming. I couldn't stop. Maybe I was hysterical or losing my mind. Diana grabbed me and yanked me along behind her. She kept saying I had to go faster, but my legs wouldn't work right, and I couldn't see. Maybe my eyes were shut. I don't know, but I was so scared. We got outside and ran all the way home, and Macduff ran with us. I thought Miss Willis was chasing us. I thought she'd come to the trailer. I thought she'd hurt Diana and me. Diana says Miss Willis's ghost won't hurt me. She'll go after her and Georgie because she hates them, not me. But, Dee Dee, what could they have done to Miss Willis? She's been dead so long, and Diana's only 12 like me. It's all so strange. Her parents, the rules, all the things I don't know about Diana's life. My head hurts when I think about it. But, no matter what Diana says, I'm still scared, and Dad is still at Home Depot, and when he comes home, he won't believe a word I say. He'll just be mad because I went into the house when he told me not to. Maybe Dad will find another job soon. I hope so, far away from here. I see now why all those other caretakers left. I don't know how I'll get a single night's sleep as long as we live here. Let me tell you something, Dee Dee. Never say you want to see a ghost. You will definitely be sorry. Love, Lisa. End of chapter 11.